Afternoon everyone. I thought I would jump on you today just to talk to you a little bit about what mindfulness is all about. Now, lots of people, when you go into the GP now at the moment, nice guidelines have changed for the better. GPs are now being encouraged not to willy-nilly prescribe medication for things like anxiety, stress and depression and chronic health conditions, but to encourage people to explore holistic approaches, mindfulness being one of them. But even though there's a lot of talk, and especially so over the last year, where mindfulness has been promoted as being one of the ways that we can manage ourselves through the current times, there's still quite a lot of resistance around mindfulness and about what it actually is. There's lots of myths and things, lots of misconceptions. So I thought I'd just take a few minutes today just to dispel some of those conceptions and clarify it a bit. And I think, you know, modern world now, we're all searching for something, and we're all searching for that that happiness, that peace, that calm that there seems to be out of our reach, really. And that elusive something that we're looking for is the ability for us to be able to show up in our lives and to live our lives as if they really, really matter. We get so caught up with going over things that have happened in the past or worrying about things that have happened in the future. You'll often hear mindfulness being talked about as being in the moment, being in the present, or present moment of awareness, and that's what it is. It's rather than being caught up worrying about things that are going to happen next week, next year, next month, or going over and over things that have happened in the past. We can't change things that have happened in the past. We can't change what's going to happen in the future. But what we can do something about is if we bring our attention back to the present and what's going on for us right now, then we can live a much freer, peaceful life. And when we pay attention to what's going on for us right now, we can notice what our mind is doing, we can notice our thoughts, we can notice what emotions we're experiencing, we can notice what's going on in our body. And when we can notice all of those things, what mindfulness does is it gives us the freedom, then it gives us a space to be able to choose what we're going to do about them. Are we going to just react in our usual habitual ways, or are we going to choose something different that is going to be much healthier for us, much better for us? So there is quite a lot of research has gone on over the last 20 years in mindfulness and the effects that it has on the brain. And I could talk for hours about the benefits of mindfulness, but I'm just going to tell you quickly that, you know, I'm no neuroscientist, but neuroscience shows that when we practice mindfulness and meditation, the neural pathways in our brain that are linked to happiness and well-being are strengthened, and the pathways that are linked to anxiety and stress and depression and addiction diminish. So, which, you know, just goes to show that there is actual neurological reasons and benefits to practicing mindfulness. And it's the same as, think of mindfulness as practicing your mindfulness muscle. If you want to strengthen any other muscle in your body, you go to the gym and you practice it. It doesn't happen just once, is it? It takes time and time again. And it's exactly the same with mindfulness. Whether you enjoy meditation or not, you will still have the same neurological benefits. It will still be making those neural pathways in your brain stronger and having those neurological benefits. So there are lots of myths around meditation. As soon as you mention mindfulness, lots of people talk about, you know, what conjures up the image is of somebody sitting cross-legged for hours on end. And you don't have to sit cross-legged to do mindfulness. I don't sit cross-legged to practice mindfulness and meditation. I sit in a chair. You can do meditation when you're walking. There are lots of different ways of doing meditation. Another thing people tend to think is they've got to empty your mind. Mindfulness meditation isn't about emptying our minds. In fact, it's impossible to empty our minds. When we practice meditation, we're not trying to get to any particular state. It's just about observing what's going on for us, noticing what our thoughts are, noticing what our feelings are, and noticing what our emotions are. And, you know, they're called practices for a reason, because we have to do them more than once. We have to repeat them over and over again for us to have the benefits from them. And it's the same as anything else. The more you practice it, the more the benefits that you have from them. So it's not about achieving a state of peace and calm. It's about noticing what's going on for us with having an attitude of kindliness towards ourselves and being willing to be curious about what's going on. So if you feel angry for some reason, you notice there's an emotion of anger, it's about being curious about it. Okay, so what does anger feel like? What does anger really mean to me? Where do I feel it in my body? What are the bodily sensations? What's my breathing like when I'm angry? And being willing to be curious and to explore what's going on for us. So it's a way of getting to know ourselves really well and getting to be the expert in our own bodies and our own minds. So that's a sort of brief description of mindfulness to you. And over the next couple of days, couple of weeks, I'm going to create a series of short videos for you so that it can help you to understand exactly what mindfulness can do for you. That it isn't just this magic cure that has suddenly appeared. Mindfulness is steeped in religion. It's been around for absolute centuries. You often hear mindfulness being talked about in relation to Buddhism. And it hasn't only suddenly appeared. Mindfulness has been around for centuries and centuries, but it's only been in the last 20 years that it's become recognised, and the research has taken place into why monks and people who practice Buddhism live lives of peace and live lives of calm. And from lots of research into the neurological signs into the brains of monks that were carried out over the last 20 years, they found that there were actual changes going on in the brain of people that meditate long term, which is how it's kind of, and the realizations that have happened then, that actually these practices that are steeped in Buddhism might actually help us manage our day-to-day lives and day-to-day anxieties and stresses in the Western world. And there have been a number of key figures who brought mindfulness to us in the US, the UK and other countries, Jon Kabat-Zinn being one. And so it isn't this new buzzword. It's been around for centuries and centuries, but it's been brought more and more to our attention over recent years, because it's only now that the research is really emerging in it. So just wanted to share that with you today, and just to kind of introduce it a little bit. So look out over the next couple of days for some more videos that I'm going to be doing for you, and I'm also going to be guiding some practices for you as well, for you to give it a go and see what you think.